Hi, my name is Jaylon Muchison, and I'm a 2020 graduate of Belleville West. Thanks for joining me on this walking history tour of the New Traditions Hallway Art Installation. I'm going to share a few highlights from the last 3 decades of Belleville West excellence. Let's start this tour all the way to the far right panel with the 1990s. These photos may look a little funny, and it's not just because of the hairstyles. All of these photos were taken at the old Belleville West campus at 2600 West Main Street. Belleville West moved to our current campus in the fall of 2003. Now, let's start in the center with the large black and white portrait of the 1998 marching band, who won first drum at the Eastern Illinois University competition. From the far right edge of this portrait, trace your eyes directly up to the top and witness a volleyball legend, number 5, Marnie Triefenbach, making a kill. Ending the season with over 500 kills and being named the National Player of the Year, Triefenbach led the team to 2 back-to-back state championships in 1990 and 1991 under the legendary coaching of Mr. Charles Rodman. Just take a look at their 1991 season record. Next, let's look just below the marching band portrait and see a piece of history. Kelly Miller was elected the first black Miss Maroon when she was crowned in 1995. Here, Kelly is seen riding in the homecoming parade with her escort, Finest Douglas. Back then, Miss Maroon was crowned in front of the entire student body at the homecoming assembly, which was followed by a parade down West Main Street where each class showed off their parade float that they built as part of a class competition. The decades-long tradition of the parade ended with this decade, and new traditions began. Just to the right of Kelly Miller is none other than famous soul singer and concert musician Brian Owens. This 1998 graduate was once a performer in Maroon Magic under the direction of Mrs. Sharon Carter. Today, Owens is based in St. Louis and performs all over the country. Below Owens is Adam Peck, playing Mortimer Brewster in the classic play Arsenic and Old Lace. Belleville West Little Theater has had a long tradition of producing great theater, and Peck was one of the greatest performers to grace the West stage in the 1990s. Now, just at the top left of the marching band, take a look at the 6 founding members of Harambe. Belleville West Harambe was started in 1997 by students Chris Connor, Krishan Terry Sims, Amber Coger Celestine, Valina Kelly, Cody McSellers McCrae, and Lisa Stringer Abdullah, along with Miss Carnetta Chalmers. In African Kiswahili, Harambe means let's all pull together. It is an organization of students interested in experiencing and celebrating African American history and culture. This photo was the day that their proposal was approved by then Principal Dr. Philip Silsby. Speaking of Harambe, just to the right of our volleyball hero is a snapshot of the first Harambe Soul Food Day in February of 1998. The Harambe members are dressed in African dashikis. During the lunch hours, students, faculty, and staff were able to sample a taste of soul that included foods such as collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, black-eyed peas, sweet potato pie, banana pudding, and peach cobbler. Look down for pictures and you'll see a snapshot of the first ever Harambe show produced on February 20th, 1998. The theme was Too Much History for Just 1 Month. This is a picture of the Harambe dancers that performed an Afrocentric hip-hop routine to Busta Rhymes' Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Now looking to the upper left corner of the collage, we see the Homecoming Day arm wrestling competition, a tradition that still continues today. Here, senior Steve Schwartz takes on sophomore B.J. Bertelsmann. In his senior year, B.J. Bertelsmann was the Illinois wrestling heavyweight state champion in 1998 under the coaching of Mr. Steve Garland. After he won the title, Bertelsmann famously did a cartwheel. Bertelsmann is now the head wrestling coach for Huntley High School, and he again did a cartwheel when his first wrestler won a state championship title. Now we can see a few pictures of the stellar boys soccer team scattered around the collage, but it's worth mentioning that in 1995, Belleville West established the first girls soccer team after many years of girls petitioning to make this a reality. Before we leave the 90s, can you spot a photo of assistant principal Mr. Jason Karstens from when he was in high school? Now, let's walk over to the next panel, 2000 to 2010. This decade would see the rise of a highly successful speech and acting team under head coach Mr. Adam Jenkins and assistant coach Mr. Russ Reidelberger. Here, both coaches are pictured with Jessica Petrie after she won the national championship in impromptu speaking in 2009. Also, in this decade, you can see the photographs from several incredible plays and musicals produced by Little Theater. In fact, if you trace the right side of the doorway almost to the floor, you will see one of the many pictures from Metamorphosis, directed by Mr. John Lodell and Miss Lori B. Long. To stage this show, the set crew built a swimming pool on stage for the actors to perform in. On the left is performer Derek Cooper, who also was the 2006 state champion in dramatic interpretation, and on the right is Ben Watts, now a New York actor. Now look just to the bottom left of the door and you can see the cast of 2008's production of A Chorus Line, directed by Miss Jennifer Sage and choreographed by Mr. Nick Johnson. This sizzling production was one singular sensation. And in the foreground of this picture, you can see actor Ian Coulter Buford, who in 2023 performed in the North American tour of Hadestown. To the left of Ian is Haley Swartout, who is now a television, film, and stage actor based out of Atlanta. Follow the floor about 5 pictures to the left, and we catch a glimpse of the 2004 Harambe Show, in which Max Paul, April Biddings, and Aaron Massey passionately delivered Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. This show celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education U.S. Supreme Court decision, which outlawed segregation in public schools. Now, to the right, just above the 2008 wrestling team, is a picture that, at first glance, doesn't seem remarkable. But this picture was taken on September 11th, 2001. Students packed into Miss Janet Keene's classroom to watch the televised news of the day unfold. Terrorists hijacked passenger jets and then flew them into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The unbelievable events of that day and the aftermath would become a defining moment for the entire decade. 3 pictures above that, we see legendary St. Louis anchorman Julius K. Hunter, who was the guest speaker for the 2006 Harambe show that honored local heroes. His first words were, "Hello, mighty Maroons." We'll end this decade a few pictures to the right with a look at the 2008 Harambe show, which was a tribute to Motown. These 5 young men performed a high-energy Jackson 5 routine that featured songs such as ABC, I Want Your Back, and The Love You Save. Finally, let's end this walking history with the magnificent decade spanning from 2010 to 2020. As we explore this massive collage, let's see if you can hunt for the pictures. In this decade, there's no better place to start than with the boys basketball team, who in 2018 won their first state championship title, the first of 2 back-to-back state championships under the coaching of Mr. Joe Muniz. Here are players Malachi Smith, E.J. Liddell, Lawrence Brazil, Curtis Williams, Jalen Mosby and Keith Randolph celebrating their 60-56 victory over Whitney Young. Number 32, E.J. Liddell was named Illinois Mr. Basketball in 2018 and 2019 and now plays as number 32 for the New Orleans Pelicans. In an incredible coincidence, Bevel West Jr. Miles Watlington, pictured here playing Coalhouse Walker in Ragtime, was selected out of the entire state of Illinois to sing the national anthem for the 2018 Boys Basketball State Championship game. And speaking of musicals, this decade Bevel West staged some powerhouse musicals and plays. Here are some pictures of the 2014 production Chicago, which set a box office attendance record for its opening night performance. Around the collage, you can see many other recognizable musicals like Cabaret, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and more. 2017's production of Little Shop of Horrors starred Rachel Deshane as Audrey. Deshane is now a singer-songwriter based in St. Louis, and in 2022 sang the national anthem at the inaugural game played in City Park Stadium. For the 2017 production of Little Mermaid Jr., it took 8 actors to puppeteer Ursula the Sea Witch, played by Janae Robinson. In 2023, Janae made her off-Broadway debut in the play I'm Gonna Marry You, Tobey Maguire. In 2015, Ricky Nelson, pictured here on the left, was the boys' track and field state champion in discus throw. 2018 saw the birth of a new tradition called Spirit the City, in which East and West joined to celebrate the great city of Belleville. Pictured here is Mr. Brent Whipple, former Superintendent Dr. Jeff Dozier, Mrs. Lisa Quant, Assistant Superintendent Missy Taylor, and current Superintendent Dr. Brian Mincer. Pictured in this super adorable promposal is Adam Harbison, now a country western singer who in 2023 released his first studio album. Speaking of prom, Bevel West has a long tradition of magically transforming the cafeteria into another world. The prom theme pictured here was Alice in Wonderland. This decade watched Harambe continue to grow, entertain, empower, and educate. Here, the Harambe praise dancers perform Help Me Believe during the 2013 Believe in Yourself show. The Harambe drama team performed an emotional dramatization of the tragic story of Emmett Till during the 2014 Civil Rights Movement show. Also for the 2014 Harambe show, Alma Gladney and Angel Riley Love taught a masterclass on Dunham technique, which was created by the Black mother of dance, Katherine Dunham. Antoine Davis and John Dozier did spectacular leaps during the Harambe Dunham performance. During the 2016 Harambe Broadway show, the Harambe Step team did a special tribute to the Broadway musical Bring in the Noise, Bring in the Funk. And this 2018 Harambe Wade in the Water performance was inspired by the legendary choreographer and activist Alvin Ailey. This decade also saw several successful IHSA contest dramas produced on the Belleville West stage under the direction of Mr. John Lodell, Miss Lori B. Long, and Mr. Jamie Klein. Belleville West was the sectional champion every year of this decade and traveled to compete in the state finals. Pictured here is a scene from the 2018 production of Superior Donuts. On the left is the insanely talented Wade Cook, and on the right is Jaylon Muchison. Hey, that's me. Jaylon Muchison saw many speech and acting successes during his time at West. In 2020, he was the state champion in declamation, the national champion in humorous interpretation, and earned the National Speech and Debate Association Student of the Year Award, the first student from West to ever do so. In 2023, Jaylon starred in the role of Pearly Fresh Fish Hawkins in the American Players Theater's production of The Royale. This decade wouldn't be complete without giving a hat tip to actor, singer, and artist Delaney Holiday. In 2019, Holiday was selected to play Aida in the Illinois All-State production of Aida and was the 2020 state champion in poetry reading and prose reading, as well as the 2019 state champion in dramatic interpretation. In addition, in 2019, Holiday led the amazing cast and crew of The Drowsy Chaperone, which received 9 nominations. That's right, 9 nominations from the St. Louis High School Musical Theater Awards. Holiday is currently an actor in Los Angeles, where in 2023 she starred as Mimi in Rent. Now, everybody, I just went over a few highlights from these last few decades. Can you imagine all of the greatness that didn't make it into this collage? If you're a current Belleville West student, I hope this inspires you. You don't have to be the state champion or a leading player to make your mark on Belleville West. All you have to do is get involved. Try out for something. Join something. Grab a friend by the hand or come by yourself and make a friend. You are already great. But come see for yourself how cool it is to be a part of something great at Belleville West. Hey, you never know where it can take you. This has been Jaylon Muchison, and it has been an honor giving you a walking tour of this art installation. Thank you.